Hey beauties, a pleasant evening to you. You know, one of the things, my beautiful people, that I'm learning to do, and I use the word learning because it's still a learning process. I've not arrived, and I don't think any human being has arrived, but I really am intentional in becoming a better person. Will I have dark days? Yes, I will. Will I have days where it seems as if I'm doing something to be worse? Yes, it may seem that way, because sometimes you may have to just kind of have a slingshot effect. When you want to make the thing go very far, you have to pull it all the way back until that where the elasticity can't go any further. The elastic band can't go any further. So then when it's at its its peak, then you release it, boom, and it shots farther, than even where it was originally. And I'm saying that in light of there are going to be dark days. There are going to be days where people are rude, discourteous, disrespectful. And you have to just take it with a smiling face. You don't have to be combative. You don't have to defend. You don't have to prove you're not bad. I am bad. I am the bad one. I am the one who you don't feel like you can disrespect me, and I don't do it back to you. If you say D, me say do. If you say V, me say vo. No, you don't have to. We have to reach to a point where we just literally allow the disrespect, the rudeness, in some instances, to be like water on a duck's back. It falls right off. You don't hold the person even accountable. You don't hold the person in your heart. You're not angry with them. You just smile and move on. I have the personality, my personality type is a type to defend. As soon as somebody says something, and I realize over time that it's ridiculous, it's arduous, it's strenuous, it puts stress on you, it makes you angry, it makes you bitter, it makes you resentful. And I didn't want that for myself. Now, there are times when you have to put your feet down, where you don't tolerate it, when it becomes acute, when it becomes chronic, especially if it is something repeated and very frequent, coming from somebody. Put your foot down. If you find that they refuse to stop, then you find amicable ways as best as you can to part ways without keeping malice. Malice is just evil intent in the heart, or giving an extended silent treatment. Sometimes you may need to pull back for a day or two, but you come back. All right, but I'm not talking things like that. There are sometimes people say something and it's off. Ignore. Literally don't even comment. Just smile and say, oh boy, Lord, I give it to you. Don't even make that thing take root in my heart. I don't want an ounce of bitterness, because if you do that, you will get no farther than where you are in life. People who have been successful spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, educationally, socially, financially, and otherwise are people who let go quickly. They don't take everything offensive. They don't take everything personal. They don't harbor hate in their hearts. They don't harbor malice in their hearts, or have an extended silent treatment where they never speak to somebody again. And even if it is that you have to love some people from far, where you just say hello and goodbye, you at least acknowledge them. If they choose not to be at peace with you, they choose not to speak to you, and not to answer, then fine, then you have no choice. It's not a matter of you. There are people like that that they have made up their minds that I'm not going to be at peace with this woman. I'm going to be at war with her. There are people like that. You know them for years, and it just stays. It doesn't come down. They decide that I am not going to, and I'm not talking about being friends. I'm just not going. They decide that they're not going to be kind. They're going to, very seldom greet you, and it is very cold. They're how they look at you, and they do that, and you have to just be okay. You have to find a coping mechanism to deal with that. That is why Paul says, as far as it depends on you, as much as possible, you go to where you can be at peace. What he's saying to you is that there are some people who will not be at peace. There are some people who they're going to be discourteous, they're going to be rude, they're going to be offensive where they don't need to be. All of these things. And you just have to hold strain. You have to sometimes just say, God, bless them and keep them. May your face shine upon them. Be gracious unto them and grant them peace. I pray this for people who have taken me on as an enemy. I've often said my only enemy is really the devil and his demons. Those are my enemies. But because Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against evil powers, against rulers of darkness and ominous world forces, or spiritual wickedness in high places. That is what the Bible says. So it is the evil spirit that works in them, because we're knowledgeable of that. Sometimes we forget that, it doesn't mean that, and sometimes it's just the flesh. Yes, the enemy will come with his little thing, trick and trade, but it is the flesh, because we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. We are flawed. And, we have to know when to hold, when to fold, when to walk, when to run, There's a time for everything under the sun, as the book of Ecclesiastes says. So don't take everything personal. Don't be vexed and hold somebody up in your heart because they said something. Let us say they said you're black, you're ugly, you're fat. Even if they said that and it hurts, say, you know what? Poor thing. They don't even know better. Forgive them, Lord, before they know not what they say. Sometimes you just have to do that. It's not easy. You just have to ask God to help you and be intentional. And there are times when it comes and you find that God just gives you the power to just remain calm and cool and collected and quiet. They said, wow. And there's a time when you have to put a stop to it because you don't want it to become problematic, where now other people start to join on the disrespect bandwagon and create problems for you, mess up things for you financially and socially and otherwise. So you have to nip things in the bud, to show that, look here, I'm a no-nonsense human being. I'm not going to take this disrespect. Have a good one, and you move on. There are moments for that. But when they're light, when they're light afflictions, when they're something that you can't write home about it. Now, it stick you. It's like a pin stick versus a dagger joke. You understand? So you realize a pin stick choice will wear off after a while. But a dagger, you make sure when you see that it is a dagger, you say, all right, hold on, I have to deal with this because we don't want this thing create a wound that may never heal. When they have certain daggers and they jam you and they twist it, it can be wounds and never heal. You see some people dents in their skin and the skin looks sink and sunken and look bad. Right. And I'm using that in a figurative sense now. So you will know that there are moments to deal with that. But wonderful people, beauties, my great fellow people, we are intentional in becoming a better human being, and that intentionality has to be you have to be deliberate. You have to do it. It is not easy. Sometimes people may just want. Sometimes it's like God may just not want to be the child of God, today. You see some people were just terrible. You want to finger it and go on bad. You want to do them really bad. You want to, but because of the transformation that is taking place and because you're now at a different level, if you do that, you're actually not going to get a sense of peace. Gosh, because God, He will not associate His spirit with something that is of the devil. So He's not a forceful God. He will back off, but you're not going to get that peace afterwards. That's why you find people, they will sometimes hold on to the silent treatment because they're really embarrassed. When they think about what they have done to people, they're really embarrassed. They're shameful, so they just hold on to the shame. It's like Peter. Peter had to hold on to the lie, never wanted to seem like I say, you saw me I tell about them so-called Christian people, they lie and wicked and thief. No, he never wanted that. So he have to go and bad and cause some dirty bad word. I say, you hear me say, what's it? Not know the man sort of a situation. And so some people, but they are so hurt inside, they're angry that they really have been a horrible human being. There's some horrible, horrible, horrible human beings who are intentional in being horrible. It's not something spawned by the devil. It's their own intentionality. Just as how if somebody is a kind human being, it is something that they were intentional about. It's not fake and false I'm talking, or perfection. And they hold on to it. But we're not going to be that way. We're going to be intentional in being a good human being. Not nice. Nice is stupidity. Nice is unrealistic. We're perfectly imperfect, but we try to do our best to be mature and just let go of certain offenses. When them light, let them go. I'm saying it to myself. Guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe.